Hello, I'm Jason Peacock, and this is Jason Talks About Games. It's called What It Is. I talk about games, hopefully drum up some interest that you might have in it. Let's just get right into it. First game was Jess's pick. Game we haven't played in a while, but a game we've played quite a bit, and that is Seasons. This is a great card drafting combat kind of game. Now there's so much variety in it. There's a stack of cards like this. The first round of the game, you're just drafting your hand of 9. You're going to put 3 away into the second phase and the third phase. You're rolling these dice, and then you take turns like picking the dice, and the symbols on the dice will like let you put more spells in play, or to let you turn some of your resources into energy and points and stuff like that. There is a lot of fun to this game in finding combinations that work, stringing together new combinations. There's cards that'll mess with your opponent. There's cards that'll, if you can set these, there's cards that if you can set up properly, get big endgame points. It plays amazingly well at 2 players. The art on it is fantastic. And it's one of Jess and mine's favorite games, Seasons. Got a couple more games of Doom in. Played 3 games with Jess, and she had her brother come and stay with us. So we played a 3-player game. This game is fun. It plays fast and quick. You've got an Overlord player, and he's controlling all the demons. And then you have 1 to 4 heroes controlling the Marines. The game does a great job of bringing the video game feel onto the table. You've got glory kills, like if you can weaken a demon enough, you simply have to move into his space to auto kill him, and then you get these little bonus cards and a little bit of health you pick up. If you teleport into a space where there's a demon, you telefrag them, you just teleport inside of them and they explode. It's not like a campaign style game. You can either pick any of the missions in the map, or you play an operation, which is a series of 6 scenarios. The first team to win 4 is the overall winner. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I just don't have the time to get into these campaign games. I like the one versus many style play. So this is a winner. The streamlined combat works so well because you're playing a card, you're rolling the amount of dice on the card if you're the Marines, and then the demon player is flipping the top card on his event deck. However many shields are at the top right hand corner is how many you block. So there's no rolling dice to see how many you're blocking, and vice versa. The demon player, each demon figure has a certain amount of dice they roll, the heroes flip over the card on their deck. However many shields they get is how many they block. And there's other cards they can play that maybe help block damage and stuff like that. The miniatures are great. This game I just keep liking the more I play. So Doom, looking forward to getting more plays in. Another game that Jess picked. It's another perennial of ours. We play this game quite a bit. It's 51st State by Portal Games. And the more I play this game, the more I like it. As a side note, I just destroyed Jess, which feels good because she usually beats me at this one and Imperial Settlers. After the game, I'm already haggling to play this game. And if you don't know, 51st State is similar to Imperial Settlers. If you know that, if you don't know that, it's a card game. You've got a faction. You're either mutants or robots or scavengers. It's like a Mad Max style post-apocalyptic theme. You're playing different kinds of building cards, which you're trying to... It's an engine building game where you're trying to get your city producing resources that can give you victory points. You can like destroy other players' buildings, and it's very thematic because you get things like guns and you get gasoline, bricks. I like this better than Imperial Settlers just because it seems to play quicker feels a little bit more streamlined, like first player to 25 points signals in the end of the game. Imperial Settlers, always 5 rounds. So I do like them both. And Imperial Settlers, I really like the different factions, the asymmetric factions. 51st State, you don't have your own faction deck. You've got your own faction special ability. I'm really looking forward to the expansion coming out from this one. Another solid entry from Portal Games. Next on the list is Tmnt Shadows of the Past. This baby right here. Now I remember my brother kickstarted it and I was just like, no, I've got no interest in another minis game. Ninja Turtles, it's gonna suck. This game does not suck. Conan was my favorite game of the year, and this is in the same vein as Conan. One versus many. It's not a campaign. You can play any scenario. The mechanics are brilliant. The turtles, you're either one or four turtle, or you always use one or four players controlling the turtles. You've always got to use all 4 of them. So if you're playing one player on the turtle side, it's a little bit much for newer gamers because you're rolling their action dice at the start and you got to keep track of all the different turtles actions. But put that aside, I did a run just solo player. I played as the turtles and as the villains in the first scenario, and I'm really in love with the mechanics. The teamwork that the turtles use is ingenious. I don't want to go too much into this because it was just me playing solo to get the know the rules, but it's love at first sight right now, and this is on the top of my list to get to the table and play with more players. Alright, next up is Battlelore 2nd Edition, Christmas present from my dad, who owns a friendly local game store in North Bay, Ontario. He got Battlelore, which is probably going out of print by the look of things. Fantasy Flight has been dumping it on their Christmas sale for, half price for the base game. Like, incredible deal. And I managed to get this one on the table with Jess, who's a huge fan of Memoir 44. It's that same system, the command and color system, except this one really spices it up. You've got fantasy battles, you got the good guys, the bad guys, dragons, and all that Rune Wars, Runebound, Descent world monsters. It's got a lore system, which is like a deck with magic cards, which I really think, for me, it takes the cake as far as the commands and colors go. And it's not just set up scenarios. Memoir 44, you've got to put a certain amount of tiles on the map. It takes forever to set it up when you have a lot of expansions and stuff like that, and then track all the different kinds of rules. With this, you don't need as many tiles. You've got these scenario cards to pick from that your army has. That'll tell you how you can set up your half of the battle. And then you set up your troops, so there's point building. Another thing I like, you build your units, and you've got 18 cards total. Some of these are decoys and some of these are your actual units. Both the players have them laid out on the 18 colored hexes on their card that shows their half of the game board. At the same time, they start flipping them over. They place the troops, and first one to 16 victory or something like that. I'm not sure the exact number. And your own little scenario card that you pick that shows your setup with the half of the battle will tell you your own personal objectives you can get to gain even more victory points. If you're wondering about that cackling noise, it's the nice fire I have going in the background. I hope it's not too distracting. Okay, so that's Battlelore 2nd Edition. I played the tutorial game, and then we played a full-on game, and I'm looking forward to integrating the other content for it and army building a little bit more, but thumbs up for me. Okay, we had a game night. My wife and I had a friend over. She's a big Star Trek nerd, so we busted out Star Trek Catan. This is one of the games that got us into gaming. I haven't played Catan in a while, and Star Trek Catan is my preferred way because I love the characters. You can use a character's ability up to twice, and then after that, you have to cash them in and get a new character. Catan is a popular game for a reason. It's really fun, it's really accessible, and it's really rewarding when you're doing good. The game length can go on a little bit too much for my taste, but it was a really nice game to bust out after I don't know how many years. So I was happy this one got picked. It was good to play. Star Trek Catan. That same night, I grabbed Animals on Board. This isn't a game I've had a chance to get to know too well. I played it a couple times with my son. My wife was just meh with it. She never really got the deeper strategy that this game can offer. We got a little bit more of that on game night. The game is... It comes off as almost a kid's game. You've got your little arc. You've got a bunch of cutesy animal tiles in the middle. On your turn, you're either going to split up this pool of animals. One of them is always face down. Or you're going to take a group of animals. When you split an animal, you get a little food token. If you want to take a group, you've got to have one food for every animal in that group. And you're trying to make sets of either 1 or 3 or more. If you have any pairs, they go at the end of the line because Noah is dealing with pairs down the road. So, and if you have 3 or more, they're all worth 5 points. Otherwise, they're numbered 1 to 5. The game really offers some strategy. You really have to pay attention to what other people are splitting up. But this simplistic, almost kids-looking game on the surface really offers a good depth of strategy. To take something so simple and to make it that complex is awesome. That's Animals on Board. The playtime is great. You can play a game in 20 to 30 minutes. So it's a good in-depth filler game. All right, next we have Unspeakable Words. This is a game that Jess got for Christmas from my dad, the deluxe edition of Unspeakable Words. Scrabble was one of those games we played back when we first met, before we knew about hobby board gaming. My wife had a Scrabble board at her place, so we played this quite a bit. I'm not a fan of Scrabble. I don't like it at all. I'll do whatever I can to get out of a game, but this has the Scrabble feel to it. You've got a hand of 7 cards. You simply play a word on your turn. You can't duplicate words, and the word is scored based on how many angles are in the letter. So an A is worth 5 points, an O is worth 0. You can't spell the same word twice in a game. The catch with this game is you have these little Cthulhu tokens. That's your sanity. And you have a 20-sided dice. If you score, say, 12 points on a word, you roll that 20-sided dice. If you roll less than your points you scored, you lose one of those sanity points. If you lose them all, you go insane and you lose the game. The object is to get 100 points or more. Another fun thing about this game is if you only have 1 sanity left, your word does not have to make sense. You can throw any number of vowels and letters into a word. There's a fun variant where you have to use that in a sentence and make up what that word is, but that's just a variant. And it plays so quick, you can teach anybody it. It's actually a hit, and I do enjoy playing it. Unspeakable Words, the deluxe edition. All right, we had Borne hit the table. This is still game night. And I'm still trying to find the magic with this game. I love Eric Lang as a designer. The game is meh with me. You've got to get to know the cards in the hand, and you've got to get to know your starting cards really well. You've got to be able to pay attention to what other players are playing and what they might have left. And you've got to pay attention to what other players are buying. I haven't written this game off. It might be falling in favor a little bit. I want to get this to the table another time or two, and I really want to see what it is other people are raving about this game. It's just beyond my grasp. You know, I can see that this game has got some potential. I just haven't been able to get there with my groups. Pretty soon it might be time just, to forget about this one and pass it on. But it's got some really fun moments. You've got a hand of cards. You've got a deck of 10 monsters. You're playing weapons. And every time you damage a monster, you're taking hit points off that. These little blood tokens, putting them on your board. If you die, you're going to lose whatever you got until you play this one card that lets you bank them and take half damage on that turn. It's got a little bit of push your luck. You can also mess with other players. Your weapons can damage them if they're the only one that played a melee weapon. It's like a really complex paper, rock, scissors game. The players are kind of cooperating to kill the bad guys in the middle, and they're kind of trying to kill each other. It's really interesting. That's Bloodborne by designer Eric Lang. Finally, game night, we played Karuba, another light game on the same weight as Animals on Board. Super simple to teach. It's got a bingo sort of mechanic. You'll have like 36 tiles in front of you and a board. You take turns setting up your board. You've got the people on one edge and the temples on another. The one person has all their tiles just in a stack, and they're going to be the ones determining which tiles you draw. So, say Jess grabs a tile, she's number 36. Okay, we all grab that 36 tile. We can put it anywhere on our board. It just has to be upright. You can't turn them. And the idea is to create these paths from your people to their temples. And the first one to get to a temple gets 5 points, second one 3, and so on. You can also pick up these gold and crystal gems on the way to your temples as long as you land on them. Going past them doesn't count. The game ended for the first time at Karuba with my wife playing a perfect game, getting all 4 of her people to all 4 temples, whereas I ended up blocking 2 of my people in. I was really trying to pay attention and being conscientious of this, but that's one thing you got to watch out for. This game is great, and it was a Spiel des Jahres nominee, and for a reason. It's got a lot of mass appeal. And finally, this game from a new publisher on the scene. It's called Guards of Atlantis. This is a miniatures game, and it's supposed to emulate a tabletop multiplayer online battle arena style game. I've never really played any of those games. I know what they are. Rum and Bones is supposed to do the same thing. This game, however, has no dice. It's a miniatures game that is all strategy. I just played this solo player, 1 versus 1, to get to know the rules, and it's an ingenious rule system. I can't wait to play this. It plays up to 9 players. It plays big team battles, and you're going to have a deck of cards. I believe you have 6 cards or 5 cards, and it's going to give you like move. You can do one of the things on your card. You can do the special ability, you can do the movement, you can do the melee attack or the ranged attack, and you're going to be playing these things face down, and then everybody flips them, and whoever has highest initiative will execute theirs first. There's these mindless minions on the board as well, and they're going to, if you're next to an enemy's minion, they're going to put modifiers on your defense. The position in this game is really important. This is the most strategic chess-like miniatures game I've ever come across, and right now it's love at first sight. Again, I can't fully comment on how this game plays because it's just me playing both sides to get to know the rules, but this one is going to be a winner. I can already tell. That was a long list. I haven't done this in a few weeks. The craziness of the Christmas holidays. Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like what I'm doing, hit that like button. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're playing. Let's start a discussion. That's what this is all about. Happy 2017, everyone. See you next time.